the Saints podcast. Y'all already know what it is. They fired them, y'all. Saints fans coast to coast. It's been a long time coming, but we here. Man had half of y'all ready to rock them. I saw y'all in the crowd, y'all rocking them. Here we go again. Just another Sunday trying to watch Dennis win. Now keep in mind the Saints done lost 7 straight. But Mickey Loomis still gaslighting fans saying that he's the next great coach. Like Nashula, Chuck, no, they lost. Gotta look beyond the results. But everyone knows that statement was dumb. Wow. The Saints just lost to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Homie had no answers. Turned the whole team to a downright disaster. But I couldn't believe it when I got the news. When I found out that they fired dude. Heard Mrs. B had to do it. Why? Because the GM be acting clueless. Now he writing statements sounding mad. What'd he say? Never mind the Saints fans rocking them. Never mind they rocking them. Sitting next to somebody rocking that. You had to fire your DA because they rocking them. Never again. Had to do it.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? My name is Timothy J. Jones, and I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Before we get started, I want to just let you know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by BETUS. Sign up today, get up to 150% on your first deposit and up to 125% on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Download the BETUS app or go to the website and use the promo code YouTube150. And for a few minutes, I want to talk a little bit about Marshon Lattimore. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already heard that the New Orleans Saints have traded the shutdown corner, the 4-time Pro Bowler Marshon Lattimore, to the Washington Commanders. The New Orleans Saints get a 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick from the Commanders, and the Commanders received Lattimore as well as the Saints' 5th-round pick. Now, the 6th-round pick that the Saints got from the Commanders was originally theirs. They end up giving it to the Commanders when they made a trade for John Ridgeway, the defensive tackle, earlier before the season started. But look, everybody knows how I feel about Marshon Lattimore. Marshon Lattimore is one of my favorite Saints of all time. I mean, it goes without saying he is the greatest cornerback in New Orleans Saints history. I mean, I don't think that you can find a better cornerback in Saints history than Marshon Lattimore. His ability to be able to shut down half of a field, the fact that you can be able to play defense differently because Lattimore was in the lineup. I mean, the guy legitimized the secondary. Before he got to the New Orleans Saints, I mean, the secondary play was terrible. I mean, you think about like guys like Brandon Brown are getting beat out there time after time. No disrespect to P.J. Williams. I mean, he got better when they switched him to safety, but when he was at corner, I mean, it was a bloodbath week after week. But in 2017, Marshon Lattimore was picked by the New Orleans Saints with the 11th pick. Of course, we know that Marshon Lattimore, if you followed that draft, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick. Some teams kind of looked at him and his injury history, and they kind of shied away from him. So he fell to the New Orleans Saints. We know the Saints wanted Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs jumped in front of the Saints and got Patrick, and the Saints end up getting Lattimore. To me, I feel like both teams won because they both had cornerstone players. Marshon Lattimore legitimized the defense, and you also had Patrick Mahomes still doing his thing in a major way. I feel like if the Saints didn't acquire Marshon Lattimore, I think that Patrick Mahomes situation would have hurt even more. But he made Saints fans not really concern themselves about that as much. Of course, you think about the possibilities of what if, but it would have really hurt if Marshon Lattimore wasn't as good as he was. But look, the Saints getting draft capital, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think that the Saints, in order for them to get out of this situation that they're in, they're going to have to build through the draft. They're going to have to really do their due diligence, do their homework to find the best quality players that they possibly can. Now, I mentioned that 2017 draft. It was a classic draft. It gave us guys like Lattimore and Marcus Williams and Alvin Kamara and Trey Hendrickson and, guys like that, who were really, really good for the team. But at the end of the day, to actually replicate something like that, it's just wishful thinking. Like, that is one of those drafts where it's just like, man, it's like going to Vegas and putting it all on black and just cashing out. So if you can actually hit more than you miss, I think that this can actually help you to be able to get out of that situation. The New Orleans Saints also have to be able to find a coach that can develop talent. They got to be able to put a front office together that can put together quality talent that can be developed. I would be looking at the Green Bay Packers organization and their front office. I would be looking at the Ravens front office. I would be looking at the Detroit Lions front office and how they're structured right now. Those are the organizations I'll be looking at, because my biggest concern is you keep things the same way they've been going with Mickey Loomis running everything, right? Him being the general manager and executive vice president, him being the main football guy in the room. And I understand that the New Orleans Saints got some guys behind the scenes like Randy Mueller and a few others that are football guys, but everything starts and stops with Mickey Loomis. And I feel like that's a very dangerous thing. Like, we see how upset and frustrated he was when Gail Benson jumped in front of him to fire Dennis Allen. Like, we know what Dennis Allen was doing to the fan base. We know what Dennis Allen was doing to the team. And he was willing to restructure that team over and over and over again until guys actually buy into a coach that was a loser. It's just that plain and simple. And if you're going to be that stubborn, if you're going to take it that personal, I don't want that type of energy that's, responsible for the day-to-day operations, because we're going to be miserable for years to come. I think that Mickey Loomis, once again, just like I mentioned with that example about going to Vegas, putting it all on black with the draft, he went to Vegas, put it all on black, and he ended up cashing out with Sean Payton. Sean Payton kind of fell into his lap because, the Green Bay Packers then come calling. They decided to hire Mike McCarthy instead of Sean Payton. And Sean Payton kind of fell to the Saints, and the rest is history. So you kind of fell, excuse my French, ass backwards into prosperity. And then you had Drew Brees, someone that was just determined to try to change the narrative about how people thought about him being undersized. And then on top of that, him not being able to play the quarterback position at a high level because of his shoulder. So you have two guys with chips on their shoulder coming in that's changing the misfortunes of your franchise. They legitimized it. But I think now that we see that those two individuals are gone, we see Mickey Loomis isn't as good as everybody making him out to be. And I just think that Gail Benson doesn't need to stop with just letting go of Dennis Allen. I understand that Mickey Loomis is the executive vice president, so he's not going anywhere when it comes to him being an executive with the team. But you can relieve him of his duties and bring somebody in, maybe a young, innovative general manager, come in and bring his team, new scouts, to be able to evaluate the talent and be able to make the Saints a legitimate franchise once again, make them competitive while you're actually dealing with some of these cap situations. I mean, we understand where the Saints are. I think that we as Saints fans have an appreciation that they're actually understanding who they are and what they are. It's unfortunate that it had to take a Carolina Panthers loss for them to look in the mirror and realize that, dang, we're not the team that we used to be. Now that we understand that, now we can move on. We can roll with the punches. We can understand that the team is going to go through some hardships. But continuing to kick the can down the road and acting oblivious to the obvious, I don't think that is helping the cause here. I don't think it's going to help the cause. I don't think it's going to make things better for your organization. So to me, I think that Mickey Loomis needs to step to the side and allow somebody young to actually come in. But all in all, Marshon Lattimore will be missed. He was a guy that Saints fans loved. You know, he had a cool demeanor. He wasn't a rah-rah guy. He was kind of laid back in the cut. He did his job, came through with a lot of swag, a lot of confidence, believed in himself, and you can count on him to make plays and be able to shut down wide receivers more times than not. When you are constantly shutting down guys like Mike Evans and Julio Jones throughout the years, having, winning those matchups more times than losing, that's a testament to how great you are as a player. The Commanders, they got something special. And one thing that I really love about this, we know that the Washington Commanders play in a big media market. They play in one of the most polarizing divisions in football, which is the NFC East. So in that regard, I'm excited for Marshon because I feel like now he's going to get his flowers. Y'all know how it go, man. When they start looking at these small market teams with these top-notch players, they don't really pay them that much of a mind because, hey, man, he plays for the Saints. He plays for the Jaguars, yada, yada, yada. Now everybody is going to be able to see how special this guy has been for the last 8 seasons. So it's unfortunate that he had to go, but that's the nature of the business. Sometimes you got to make those tough decisions, and a tough decision was made by the New Orleans Saints on Tuesday when they decided to trade Marshon Lattimore. But I wish that brother all the best, man. Marshon Lattimore, he'll, respond to me every now and then, when I mention him on the show, always show some love. And, the guy is a true pro and one hell of a football player. But I would love to hear from you. What do you all think about Marshon Lattimore, him being traded to the Washington Commanders? Do you think that was the right move? What do you think about the New Orleans Saints finally coming to grips with the fact that they're rebuilding? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, if you're watching this on a Tuesday, you can check out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the NFC South Roundtable. That is available on YouTube. All you have to do is search NFC South Roundtable. I'll be there representing the New Orleans Saints. Win, lose, or draw, 2 wins, 3 wins, no wins. We still going to be saying who that, all right? Till next time, all I got to say is who that.